Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Game of Thrones episode 2 video. Generally, I think this episode is a lot more fun than episode 1. We're finally getting into some of the action of the season. We get to see 2 big new locations. We also get to see some really fun, familiar faces. Careful for spoilers for the episode if you haven't seen it yet. And new round of the giveaway starts now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. It's for an HBO Now subscription. So here we go, starting with top 5 moments. Number 5, Arya goes to the House of Black and White. If you remember, the last time we saw the Titan of Braavos, it was when Stannis was going to get money from the Iron Bank. I love how she laughs at the myth of the Titan. You can tell that she doesn't care about faith. She's not a religious person. I'll be interested to see how that changes, or if that changes during her time with the Faceless Men. I think they redid some of the CG for the city too, the city shots. I mean, obviously, we move through the camera, we move through the city, so we see a couple of the different districts. But the big wide CG shot just seems a lot nicer than the one during season 4 that we saw. There's only 10 episodes this season, so I do think that there are a lot of places in Braavos that we just won't see. It's the same deal with Meereen, like you only see certain places. Cersei sent Mace Tyrell on a mission to get more money from the Iron Bank, so I do think that we'll see the Iron Bank again. This character that she meets here looks like it's the Kindly Man from the books, although technically the first face that the Kindly Man shows her is more of like a skeleton with scraps of skin hanging off of it. He even has like a worm crawling out of his eye that Arya has to kiss. It's like her way of showing that she's not afraid. In the episode, I think her standing up to those street thugs kind of took the place of that thematically. And did anyone else think that it was curious that when she was saying her prayer outside on the steps, she said the mountain's name? The whole list is actually very long, so we're actually only hearing just like a small part of it. In the mountain, yes. Who wonders what he's going to do with that head? Probably just experimented on it, maybe harvest it for stuff. Because there's a bunch of mountain-related stuff in the books, I want to wait till we see more of what the show's going to do. I just don't want to get too crazy into spoilers, so please use spoiler tags if you want to talk about the Mountain or Robert Strong from the books. On to number 4, Pod and Brienne are like every freaking chicken from season 4. I feel kind of bad for Brienne. It's like every Stark child that she runs into just gives her the business and tells her to get out. She did tell him the story of the smoke baby, which was kind of fun. You can't really tell if Littlefinger believes her. I think he just wants to get rid of her. She's like a wild card that he just doesn't want to deal with. It was kind of hard to tell what Sansa was thinking. Maybe she just feels like Brienne reminds her of all the awful things that have happened to her family, and she just doesn't want to deal with it. It's not that she likes Littlefinger, it's just that she's kind of grown comfortable with their situation and their weird alliance that they've formed, and she doesn't want to deal with Brienne either. As much as it seems like Sansa trusts Littlefinger, I don't think that she does. I think she's like slowly wising up to the fact that she can't trust anybody. Right now for her, I think it's more of a devil you know situation. She still has a lot to learn though, before she can survive on her own without Littlefinger's help. It also didn't help Brienne's cause that she was wearing Lannister gear with a Valyrian blade, but her speech was amazingly sincere. Brienne is one of those heartbreaking characters that just like utterly sincere in everything she does, but just constantly gets kicked in the mud. I know everyone's asking about Lady Stoneheart this season. I still don't expect to see her. I think when she and Pod got separated and Pod ended up in the river, you could look at that as like an Easter egg for Lady Stoneheart, just because we're right around that time in the books when she shows up. I'm not expecting it, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen. You guys can let me know whether you agree. Do you think that Brienne is stupid for wanting to pursue Sansa to try and help her, even though that Sansa wants to have nothing to do with her? Should she just cut her losses and try to go back and serve with Jaime? If she really wanted, she could probably be named to the Kingsguard by Tommen. She'd have to do a little bit of convincing, and Cersei might not be super happy about it. But it seems like something that's never going to happen, like total fanfic. On to number 3, Cersei and Jaime decide that Jaime is going to go to Dorne to get Myrcella. If you're wondering who sent that message, who sent the threat, it's probably Ellaria Sand. She's the one that's trying to start a war with the Lannisters. They've changed a whole lot about the Sand Snake, so I think Ellaria Sand is Arianne Martell from the books with a little bit of Obara Sand too. We didn't see him in this episode, so I'm just going to wait till next week to talk about what the show is doing with the Sand Snakes. Cersei tells Jaime that Myrcella is being kept at the Water Gardens. The Water Gardens are where Prince Doran Martell has been hiding himself, just so his subjects don't see how bad his gout has gotten. He just doesn't want them to see him as weak. It's so much fun seeing Dr. Bashir Martell. I'm a big fan of Alexander Siddig. He said something really interesting about his performance as Doran Martell. He said that he's basing a lot of the way he speaks, his accent, on what Pedro Pascal did in season 4. It's just that inside the universe of the show, Pedro Pascal originated the Martell characters, so all the other actors that are members of his family, the Martell family, have to take cues from that. He's going to be a lot of fun. What I'm really hoping is that, we see some of his character in season 5 and he becomes a much bigger character in season 6. The same thing that they did with Ilaria Sand. Ario Hata is going to be a lot of fun too. I would say after Oprah and Martell versus the Mountain, like the next biggest fight that I would like to see would be Braun versus Ario. I don't know if things will go down that way, but if there's any two people in Westeros that I'd like to see fight, it would be those two. On to number 2. Daenerys tries to figure out what to do with the Sons of the Harpy. So they capture one, but then one of her freed slaves executes him, and she's forced to execute him in the name of justice. It's this whole big thing about her trying to be more of a diplomat versus a tyrant like her father. It's funny that she doesn't know a lot about her father. She says Viserys told her things, but he probably didn't tell her the whole truth. The Mad King, lots of wildfire, did not end well for anyone. Barristan pretty much narrates Robert's rebellion for her. The rebellion didn't start so much because of Lyanna Stark being supposedly kidnapped by Rhaegar Targaryen, even though I think that he didn't kidnap her in the first place. What happened is the Mad King killed a bunch of nobles. Those noble families banded together and started the rebellion. Robert Baratheon was just the point man. He was just the person everyone rallied behind. So it wasn't the entire kingdom going to war over a woman being kidnapped. It looks kind of like Daenerys is facing the same situation, like things are going to descend to civil war inside Meereen. We're only in episode 2, so definitely expect things to escalate. And isn't it funny how Barristan called out wildfire, and then we see Drogon at the end of the episode. He looks big enough to ride, definitely big enough to ride. That would be a really quick way to solve all of her problems, just roast all the people yelling at her. And finally, my number 1 WTF moment, Jaqen H'ghar reveals himself to Arya. This is a really big departure from the books. The kindly man, this person here who Jaqen was masquerading as, people thought he might be Jaqen H'ghar, but technically Jaqen H'ghar in the books is like off on another mission doing something else on the other side of the world. So I think we can assume that they're cutting out pretty much all of the Citadel plot in season 5. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, it doesn't matter for the show. Jaqen H'ghar, gonna teach her the way of the warrior, the way of the faceless warrior. I'd say generally of all the running storylines right now that I'm most excited about, it's Jaime and Bronn headed to Dorne. Yay for Lawless. I'm so happy Lawless is back. That was such a funny scene with Bronn. And Arya learning to become a faceless man. Just as a bonus, we have to address Jon Snow becoming Lord Commander. This should have been like a top 6 moments. But anyway, Jon Snow, Lord Commander, right out of the book. Samwell conspires with the other brothers to elect him. I loved how Maester Aemon was the one that cast the deciding vote. I know a lot of you are disappointed that Jon didn't take Stannis' deal to become a Stark. That will come back around eventually, I think. That it wasn't like a one-time deal. His sense of duty will continue to be tested. Here's my big question for you guys. What was your favorite moment from the episode? And what do you think it's going to take for Jon Snow to take Stannis' deal to legitimize him and become Jon Stark? If Arya isn't going to be able to give up her past life, become no one, as Jaqen implied, do you think that the same thing is going to happen with Jon Snow? Like they'll both end up choosing family over duty. I would really love to see that. It'd be a very human choice to make. Humans are flawed, so as much as Jon wants to uphold the ideals that he believes in, he's probably going to make the emotional choice at a certain point. All in all, great episode. I know a lot of people were disappointed in the first episode just because it moved a little slowly and they just spent so much time setting stuff up. But now I feel like we're actually moving forward. We're moving all these plot lines forward. Just a reminder, I'll announce the winner of my giveaway in my Q&A tomorrow, so be sure to subscribe to get that if you haven't already. All you have to do to enter the giveaways is just be a subscriber and leave a comment. Nice and simple. I haven't decided what my bonus video is going to be for next week, so feel free to leave me any requests in the comments. Maybe something Dornish if we're going to see more of the Martells. Hopefully we'll see more of the Martells next week. So while you guys wait for that Q&A to post, you can click here to learn more about the Faceless Men of Braavos and the House of Black and White, and you can click here for my episode 1 video from last week. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.